All right, let's talk about Unit 2, Lesson 5, Writing Linear Inequalities. So notice, inequality means we're going to have greater, less than, or equal to. Okay? So for each scenario, we're going to write an inequality and we're going to solve. So you're going to see words like this: at least, the smallest, no less than. So that means that we're going to have some variable and we want that to be the smallest number. So if I had a number like 100 over here, I want that to be the smallest. So you want to put the small part of the arrow by that number. And if it's least or smallest, that means we can also include that number. So we're going to use the bar to show it's equal. Okay, so we want all of our x's to be bigger than that number, and that would make that number the smallest one. Okay, so on the opposite, we've got the words at most, the greatest, no more than. So we want, if we have some unknown amount, we want our number to be the biggest part. So we put the big part of the inequality symbol by that number. So it would be the biggest. And all of our x's would have to be smaller than that. Once again, we can also be equal. So use the wording. Some of the wording will just be more than. And so we wouldn't have the bar. So for example 1, the Andersons are putting a brick border along one edge of their flower garden. So I've got a flower garden on one edge. We've got a bunch of bricks. The flower garden is no more than 24. So that is going to be our max. Okay? If each brick is a ½ foot long, what is the greatest number of bricks needed? So I'm going to let B the number of bricks. So you have to think, how do I set up an inequality or even an equation? Well, if I think the number of bricks, like if I had 5 bricks, times the size of each brick, that needs to compare to my max or min length. Okay, that's in words, and you don't have to write that. That's just for you to think about. So the number of bricks, I don't know, but I do know the size. So they're going to be a ½ foot long. So a half, and I know each brick, that's going to be the number. So that's 1/2 B. And I want to compare that to 24 is my max, so I need to figure out which symbol do I want. I want the big part of the inequality to be by that 24. Okay, so that's going to be half of our answer. So now I'm going to solve this. So whenever you have a fraction, remember we're going to multiply that by that denominator on both sides. So B is less than or equal to 48, which means the number of bricks, that's going to be the greatest number I have. 48 is the most. All right, let's look at example 2. You earn $9.50 an hour and you need to earn at least, so that's going to be my minimum, $105. How many hours must we work? So I'm going to let H be the number of hours that we work. And so you have to think, well, how do you make money? Well, you take the amount that you receive each hour times the number of hours, and then that usually compares to your total money that you make. So I've got $9.50 times our number of hours we don't know, and that's going to compare to our 105. So if we want that to be the minimum, we want that to be the smallest. Okay? So now if we solve that, well, since that's being multiplied, we're going to divide by 950. So I've got 105 divided by 950, and we get H is greater than or equal to 11.0526. And our directions say round to the nearest tenth, so we're going to say 11.1 hours. We need to work more than or equal to 11.1 hours. All right, let's look at our last example. A technical support company charges $12 per month plus $25 per hour of phone support. We need to spend less than $100. How many hours can we get? So I've got my base fee plus my variable fee, which is the fee per hour, and that compares to our total. So it's a flat fee of $12. And then they're going to add how much it changes, which is $25 per the number of hours. That's a times. And that compares to 100. So we need to spend less than $100. So that needs to be the most, but I also don't want to spend 100, so we're not going to put the bar there. So to solve this, we're going to subtract 12. So 25H is less than 88. Divide by 25, and the number of hours needs to be less. Then we get 3.52. If we round to 1 decimal place, we're going to get H is less than 3.5 hours. That's how many we can get.